So here's a quick question. Who is going to use your website? Who are you building or designing your website for? Are you designing it for yourself so that you can sit in front of a computer screen and scroll through your website 1 hour every day and admire how beautiful and amazing it is? No, you are doing it for your target market, for your target customers. And if that's the case, then your opinion on design, font, layout, colors shouldn't matter. A dumb approach is that you sit with a web designer in a closed room and tell them that this is my preference on the color, design, and so on, without getting any real customer insights. And you design the website and you develop a website, spend thousands of dollars. It's not a house that you are going to live in. You know, if you're building a house, you can sit with an architect, talk about how you would like the lights to be, the rooms to be, and so on. Because that's your house, you're going to live in it. You are building it for yourself and your family. Whereas your website, you are building it for your customers. And a smarter website has got two clear purposes. Number one is to acquire new customers, and number two is to engage and nurture and retain existing ones. That's it. So your website should be governed by customer insights and customer data. You should be developing your website with the knowledge of understanding who your customers are, what are their motivations, what are their goals, what are their fears, what are their problems, so that you can take them, once you understand their psychology, once they understand what's going on in their mind, you can take them through a journey from a complete stranger to a loyal customer through your website. But in order to create that journey, you need to know who your customers are. You need to segment them. You need to understand their behavior. And the user persona is the tool to do that. So user persona is a mapping tool that allows you to personify your customers, understand who they are, their fear, their challenges, their needs, understand their behavioral characteristics, their psychographic characteristics, and their demographic characteristics, so that you can design your journey and design your website and the website journey in a way that can provide them a valuable experience, both consciously and subconsciously. In this video, I'm going to deep dive in user persona mapping step by step. I'll hold your hand and take you through each and every step, and also give you a blueprint, a template that will allow you to create user personas for your own business. User persona mapping, let's get to it. But before we start, I provided a link to download the template and the example of user persona that you can choose and fill while we go through each and every step of the user persona canvas. So the first question, let's start with why. Why are we doing this user persona canvas? And the purpose of doing it is to understand our customer psychology so that we can design an appropriate journey for them through our website, so that they start as a stranger but end up being our loyal customers, our loyal ambassadors of our brand. So in order to design this journey, we need to understand who our customers are, or what their persona looks like, so that we can design and develop an appropriate website and the overall customer journey for them. Now, the second question is, how are we going to do it? So we are going to do it by, first of all, personifying our customers. So understanding the target market, segmenting them, and then personifying them in terms of like giving them a name, and then looking at the three things. First is their demographic segmentation in terms of where they come from, their background, ethnicity, location, age, and so on. And then we are going to look at their behavioral segmentation and psychographic segmentation. So in terms of their goals, the fears, the motivations, their skill level, and so on. So let's come to the what. So the what is this user persona canvas that we are going to create for your customers. Now, let me answer the big elephant question here. Do you do one user canvas for your business, or you do multiple user canvas for your business? So generally in a business would typically have different type of customers or different type of personas. I'll take mine one for example. My business has got, like, it's the same service, web and app development, but it's got different type of people coming for the service. So I've got startup founders who come to me for getting an app developed for their amazing startup idea. Then I've got small to medium enterprise owners that come to me for their website or for their internal application or something like that. Then I have marketers that come to me for their stuff, for their website. I've got designers and agencies that are my customers as well. Then I've got larger organizations who are looking for a development house to partner with me. So as you can see, there's all of these user segments or customer personas that you can actually look at and identify. And the trick is to try and shrink them into 2 or 3 user personas so that you can focus on them and work on them as you move towards understanding their customer journey. How do you do that? So step number 1 is, first of all, identify all different type of customers that you have. So suppose you have whatever business, a garage, a car repairing business. You need to understand what type of customers are coming to your garage. So if you have a European car business, you might have first of all rich people, sort of aged for more than 40 years, who are sort of coming to get their sort of Mercedes and sort of BMW fixed. But then that probably would be your one segmentation, but you might also have people who are younger, new rich people who have sort of bought an old second-hand European car, who are sort of coming to again your garage and get it fixed. So and you would be able to identify 2 or 3 different customer segments for your business as well. So the first thing is, write down 3 or 4 or 5 different type of customers that you have for your business. And if you are not able to figure it out, if you have an existing business, look at your customers list, look at your last 20 customers and see who they are, where they are coming from, and what are the things that unite them, what are the things that differentiate them. Now, a challenge with my type of business is that I get a lot of different type of user personas because I've got marketers coming to me, I've got small business owners, I've got medium business owners, I've got business operation managers coming to me, I've got large IT organizations coming from me. So there's a whole lot of confusion. So the way I try and that's the step 2, is to try and identify the top 3 user personas and sort of bring other user personas in there, is by I try to identify them by their goals. For example, one of the goals for small to medium enterprise owners would be to get a website that will increase sales for their business, for example. Now, that would also be the goal for the marketing manager of their business. That would also be a goal for the CFO for a small to medium enterprise business. So what I can do is although these are 3 different type of persona, and owner's persona is very different from a marketing manager's persona, but just for the sake of simplicity, I can club them together into one persona. Then I have got different type of startup founders coming to me. I've got funded startups, I've got startups who have got no money, I've got investors who are coming to me, I've got more established startups. But just for the simplicity, because for them the goal is to get become really big and become $1 million or $1 billion startup. So I can unite them by their goal and sort of keep them there. So for my business, what I did was, and I'll use this as an example, I identified 3 user personas. Number 1 was Tina, the startup founder, and I'll talk about their characteristics pretty soon. Second was David, the SME owner, and the third was Clinton, the IT head of a large organization, who is coming to us looking for development partners. Now, their goals and motivations and backgrounds are completely different, and my website need to cater for all. So the third step is actually start filling up your canvas. Now, if you look at the template that I have provided you, on the top you have to actually mention the name of the person. Now you can come up with a name that you think would be suitable. It doesn't need to be an original name of your customer. What I did for my one was I took the first name of some of my customers that I could relate to, and I used that as my customer persona, but you can come up with any name that you like. And what I did with my user journey, and you can see it in your templates as well, is I actually used it like Clinton, large IT head, or Tina, the startup founder, or David, the SME owner, just so that it sort of clarifies me then and there that I'm talking about an SME owner or startup founder. So that's the first step. Come up with the user persona name, and try to put a picture of that. So you can just sort of go and find a random picture and put a picture on that. And it's important to be able to do that so that you can visualize it. You can visualize the person, and sort of like it sort of creates a bit more of familiarity with the character or with the persona. Now, the next step is to look at the demographics, and you will see in your template I've created an option of demographics. So demographics is, again, looking at my example, I try to look at what is the demographic of Tina, the startup founder. So Tina, the startup founder, my customer would probably come from Melbourne or from Sydney. So now this is the important thing. You don't and that's the difference between market segmentation and customer persona. In market segmentation, you say my customers are 25 to 40 years, people living in Australia, whereas in this case, I'm talking about one person. So I'm talking about Tina, the startup founder, who cannot be 25 to 40. She needs to be one age. So I've sort of said Tina, who is 40 years old, right? And then she's living in Melbourne at the moment, and her earning is this much, 70,000 to 150,000. It's important to understand what their earning is as well. If you're dealing with business to business clients, what their revenue is, but it's important to understand what their annual earning is so that you can actually, again, sort of position everything according to that. So a bit of understanding of their demographics, whether they are male or female. In my case, I've got sort of a combination of both of customers, but in some of your businesses you will have a lot of males or you'll have a lot of females. So if you've got a majority of males or females, it's important to have your customer persona male or female according to that. So once you do the demographics, and that was the easiest part, the next thing is to identify their personality type. Now, I've given you in the template a guide in terms of different personality types that you can have: idealist, rational, and things like that. And there's an explanation on each personality type. So you can look at the explanation and see what resonates with your customers the most, or your user personas the most. But if you can't find anyone, you can write your own personality type and provide a bit of explanation to that. For me, the Tina, the startup founder, is an idealist. Tina, the startup founder, she sort of works on her plans, works on her ambition. So she's definitely a strong-willed person, and she's probably not that rational as someone who's got a lot more experience and a lot more sort of time in a sort of like a very sort of strict corporate governance sort of framework. So it's important to write that characteristic. You would see on the left hand side I have outlined the skills, and the skills that matter to me. In my case, I've sort of written business skills, tech skills, money, and the passion as sort of like 4 things that I would like to understand. You know, their level in that. So for example, in business skills, for Tina, I have put the business skills to be 10 out of 100 because Tina has never been in business. Tina has always been busy sort of like doing a job, or she's just come out of the university and now she wants to have her own startup. So her passion over here is 100%, but her business skills are 10%, as opposed to Clinton, the IT head, or David, the SME owner. So David, the SME owner, would have 90% business skills or even 100% business skills because he's been in business, he's run his own business, and then he has been sort of through this journey, he has learned it from his sort of parents or so on. Whereas Clinton, the IT head, would have some level of business skills because he sort of reached to that level of position. He's a CTO or IT head or IT manager. So he's sort of been in the business world for a long time, understands the business world much better, understands the objects is much better. In terms of tech skills, again, tech skills are important for me because I want to know how to write my language better so that it resonates with them. And this is the interesting thing. So Tina, the startup founder, has got very less tech skills, most probably. David, the SME owner, has again got a very less tech skills. Whereas Clinton, the IT head, has got huge amount of technical skills. Like, he's absolutely technically fluent. So the language that I need to speak in my website should resonate with all these three people. And that's why this user persona canvas, user persona mapping is important, to identify these things, identify how you communicate your message, how you put your website out. In terms of money, Tina, the startup founder, probably doesn't have a lot of money. Clinton, large IT head, has got a lot of money, but he doesn't have the control over that money because he needs to sort of go through approval. David, SME owner, has got limited money, but then he's got quick approval control. The next thing that sort of comes to is like, and this is my favorite part, which is the quote. If I hear them saying, what would they be saying? And I'll explain to you with an example. So Tina, the startup founder, would be saying, I've got $1 million app idea, but I have no idea of how all it works. I don't know how to run a startup, how to create an app or whatever. I want a partner to help me execute it. That's what the Tina, the startup founder, is saying. Whereas Clinton, the large IT head, is saying, I know my stuff well. I'm just looking for a development partner who can go through all my sort of governance regulations, pass through them, and help me in the process of developing sort of custom apps quickly, right? So what Clinton, the IT head, is saying is completely different. So his journey should be completely different from Tina, the startup founder. And on the other hand, the David, the SME owner, is saying, I know my business pretty well. I know what I need. I need return on investment. And I don't care about technology or what you are going to do, but I need returns on my investment. That's it. Three people, three completely different objectives. Clinton, IT head, is looking for something else. So what you need to do is you need to think about your customer persona and think about what would they be saying. If you've got a salon and people are sort of coming to you, people will be sort of saying, if you've got a female sort of persona, they are saying that they're probably saying that I don't care about money. I've got a lot of money, and I want to look good. I'm going to this party, and I want to be pampered. And if you're sort of working in work, like you've got a mechanic workshop, it's different. If you have got business clients, different. So you need to think about what exactly your customer would be saying and write it as a quote. Secondly, and the most important, is identifying the goals. What are their goals? What are they trying to achieve in their life? What is Tina trying to achieve? Tina is trying to achieve independence by building $1 million startup. What is David, SME owner, is trying to achieve? David is trying to achieve much more better revenue and more better sales and sort of decrease costs. What is Clinton, IT head, sort of trying to achieve? Clinton is not trying to achieve $1 million startup. Clinton is not trying to achieve a huge amount of revenue. Clinton is trying to solve internal stakeholder positions so that it could implement smooth IT systems. So these are again the differences and the contrast in your user persona canvas. So think about who they are and what are their goals. If you can't understand that, talk to your customers. And again, all of this that I have written, I have not written sort of just gone through and written all of it. What I've done is I've written it and then I've actually interviewed my real customers and tested it with them. So go and test it with your customers and interview them and sort of ensure that what you are saying is actually correct. The next thing is, what's their role in the buying process? Are they the decision makers or not? And the two major things that is going to sort of complete your user persona mapping. First is the drivers and motivators. What motivates them to take the action? Because you want to provide that motivation through your website. For me, the Tina, the startup founder, the motivation is to have her own startup, have the freedom. For Clinton, the large IT head, the motivator is a pat on the back from the senior executives because he sort of got the systems correct. Motivator could be smooth system, motivation could be efficiency. Whereas with David, the SME owner, the motivation is increased sales, increased revenue, much better cash flow for their business. Again, three different motivations. And then come the fears. What are their fears? What are their problems? What are the problems that they're trying to solve? That Tina, the startup founder, has got a challenge that she has no idea about a lot of things. Like, she doesn't have an idea how to run a business, how to develop an app, how to legally protect an app, how to launch an app, how to market it, nothing, right? So my messaging to Tina needs to be really educated. What is Clinton's challenge? Clinton's challenge is that Clinton is bounded by a lot of governance and management. So Clinton can't take risks. He has always have to choose the safer pathways. And what I've found is, initially when I established my organization, we didn't have a lot of portfolio. I connected very well with the larger organizations, and the CTOs were pretty keen on actually pushing and sort of working with us. But just because of their governance and the security framework, they couldn't work with us initially. So we actually had to bring our level up to be able to work with them. So I addressed their fear. I understood that their fear of the management, the governance, and things going wrong, and I addressed them so that I could work with them. And I put it up on my website so that once they look at my website, they understand that I meet their criteria and I can work with them. Another issue is budget. They have to get budget approval, they have to do use cases and things like that. This is not the case with Tina, the startup founder, or David, SME owner. David, SME owner, can take decisions like that. But Clinton, the large IT head, needs to do a proper case study, proper proof case, proper business case. And as, again, a service provider, it's my duty to actually provide all of this information to them through my website. Then risk and compliance is a fear, the CFO approval. So all of these are the fears and the challenges that Clinton, the large IT head, has. My David, the SME owner, his fear and challenge is about the time that's going to be consumed, about the issues that disruption that will be caused to the business, and about the hard-earned money that he might waste on the business, on actually seeking this product, because he's got limited amount of money, he's got cash flow issues, and he needs to resolve this. So again, three different fears, three different challenges. I need to talk to David about the return on investment. I need to talk to Clinton about the safety, security, and compliance, and efficiency and productivity. I need to talk to Tina about setting up her startup, making it successful. Your fear, challenges, motivations, goals dictate your messaging on the website. Now, there are a few other things that I have actually put in the template that you can try and fill it yourself. If you have got any questions, feel free to get back to me. I'm more than happy to answer it. You can add further things to it as well. You can add position info, sort of further motivations and things like that. But what I've showed you is a very basic user persona mapping, and this will allow you to go to the next step, which is customer journey mapping, before you start wireframing and prototyping for your website. So in my next video, and I'll share the link of that as well, we'll go through the customer journey mapping exercise in terms of, okay, we have identified my user persona. How do I map their journey? How do I design a journey through the website that's effective and efficient, and that allows me to convert them into my loyal customers? That's it for now. Thank you.